Hello everyone. I want to start a new project today by introducing it to you. I'm going to call it the East Africa Project. Why is that? Because my uncle traveled to East Africa in 1970 and 71. He stayed for 14 months. He lived amongst the locals and the tribes, especially in Kenya with the Maasai. And it was his childhood dream. He brought back a few things which are still in my family. It was over 50 years ago since he returned, and it was a big part of his life. He's gone now, and I have 5 remaining pieces. One of them is this carving, which I would like to display. The reason I still have it is because he considered this one of the lesser quality carvings that he brought back. He gave away everything else that he brought back except for what I have and what he gave away. So he also brought back 3 Maasai spears. These are tribal spears. These are used mostly ceremonially now in the modern era by teenage boys that pass from boyhood into manhood, and they use the spear to take a lion. I don't know if that's still a modern tradition, but two of the 3 spears that I have took lions, and these are thrown spears. They're beautiful. So I'll show you this one. This is the handle. I replaced the handle. These were in a fire and the handle's burned. So this is Philippine mahogany, and you could see that this has got a little decoration right here in the forging. And so this is what I call the long, narrow spear. Then there's one that's very similar to that. Same kind of handle. There's no decoration on this. You see the sockets are split so that when you jam the handle on there, this expands slightly and then grabs onto the handle. These new handles were epoxied in place. I was real careful to maintain the original dimensions of the spears before I removed the burned out handles. So this is a different style of spear. It's a wider blade. It's a much shorter spear. Well, actually, it's not that much shorter. It's slightly shorter. But the blade is shorter and the handle is longer. So this is about twice the length of the other handles, and this has got a highly decorated forging on the lower socket. So I want to be able to display these properly along with this carving and the other one that I have put away. So my uncle got the spears in Kenya. That's where the Maasai live. Carvings, I don't know. The other carving, I don't know. I do know he traveled in 4 or 5 East African countries, and I have them written down here: Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And Tanzania is quite big, and he was mostly in northern Tanzania and then to the east, which is near the coast. So there's a place called Dar es Salaam, I believe, that's on the coast. I know he was there. There's a large portion of Tanzania I'm sure he did not visit. And the rest of those areas and the other places, those other countries, are more grouped together north of Tanzania, and they're close together. So that's mostly where he is. Now, Somalia is to the east, I believe, of Kenya slightly. I don't think he was there. If he was, it's not really relevant to my story. I don't think I have anything from that area. So it was a big part of his life. It was a childhood dream. And I'm the one in the family that has these artifacts in his possession. And it's time for me to embrace the work that it's going to take to display them. My uncle was very close to me. And the one thing that I took from his trip as a child and throughout my entire adult life, because I was very, very young when he left the United States to go to Africa, was that this was a person who didn't talk about the things he wanted to do. He planned them and then he did them. And he was able to communicate that the rest of my life when I knew him as a nephew. Because through time, through my life and through other lives that you may see this yourself, is that people say things, they talk about things, but they don't do them. And this was a big deal because this was an American man, first generation from a European family, and it really wasn't in our wheelhouse to send somebody from my family to Africa for 14 months. And he did it. And the proof, the lasting legacy in some way are those ideals, but they manifest themselves in the things that I still have, and they remind me every day of his life, what he meant to me, and the things that he stood for, the things that he taught people. And so that's why I want to make this project, and that's why I want to share it on YouTube. So you've already seen me make the crown. You've already seen me make the base molding. You're going to see me make other things, and then you're going to see me start to assemble the major components. You're going to see me start to tinker with it. It's going to be called the East Africa Project. And so during the time it takes me, which I don't know, it could be a year, 2 years, for me to fiddle and fuss with this thing and design it and break it down and mess with it, walk away from it, come back, because that's how I work. And it'll all be done here, which is not a really great facility. This is my kitchen. So this is going to take time. But in the meantime, I will produce other videos, and you'll be able to know when it's part of this project and not part of something else, because it'll be part of the East Africa Project. So ladies and gentlemen, here we are. It's the start of something new. We're going to experience it together through live streams, through pre-produced and pre-edited videos like this one. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for liking. You can even dislike it if you want, because I don't really care. I'm doing the videos anyway. Stay strong and have a good day. Thank you.